All right, guys. What's up, everybody, man? Thank you for jumping on and joining another episode of Expert Mentors Live. We are at episode 22, which is just still amazing to me that, we've been able to move this fast. This seems like we did the first one with Rowena a couple weeks ago, and yet, we're on episode 22. And for those of you that are maybe catching Expert Mentors Live for the first time, this is really just the opportunity to tap into the horsepower of the Honey Badger Nation and the Fast Forward movement. And so there's so many amazing people in the community, and we're adding more amazing people each and every day. And we're really looking to tap into and pull from some amazing stuff that's happening within the community and being able to share and add value back to you guys. And today's no different. You guys are in for a super treat. And super excited to have Kevin Schumacher on to really talk about agent attraction. You guys are going to be blown away at what he's been able to accomplish in the short amount of time since he's been on board with EXP. And like I said, really, really excited. So make sure you guys have your notepad. I've got mine. I've got my notepad and pen. I know I'm going to be stabbing some nuggets, and which is crazy because I have the unique opportunity to be able to work with Kev and have had the opportunity to work with Kevin for a long period of time. So I know I'm going to learn something today, and I know you guys will as well. So, Kev, man, thank you for making the time and jumping on with us. Love for you to kind of share a little bit about you and really dive into today's topic of agent attraction.
Sure. I really appreciate you having me on, John. So a little bit about me. I was with RE/MAX for 25 years, been with Jay, Mike, John since 2008 or so. Coached with Wally initially till 2012 when I joined the mastermind, and then I've been coaching with John since. So it's been a real treat to have hands-on access to him, and obviously Jay and Mike and so forth. So was with RE/MAX, and in summer of last year, I had the opportunity to meet my now business partner, Trell Davis, at a friend that gave me a call and said, "Hey, I got a buddy that's interested in getting into the real estate market in Denver. Would you be open to talking to him?" I'm like, "Sure. Who is it?" And he's like, "Trell Davis." Like, "Oh, okay." And so I got on the phone. Things kicked off really well. We had a 10-minute conversation, said, "Hey, let's take it to the next level." We met for a couple hours, continued to talk and expand. So the whole concept is for us to go independent. So we were building a model, go independent. Pretty much we were always in alignment with NAEA in the partner model, ran side-by-side compensation, everything else. We've done all of the boot camps, ISA boot camps. Basically just mirror what we do based on the success that NAEA and Jay, Mike, and everyone has had. So had everything in position to go independent, and then we were on our way. I was on the way to Mastermind in Dallas. I think it was in October, if I remember right, September, October, and I was exposed to EXP. Initially, was in a little denial because we were going to go independent. And then when I stepped back and I really looked at everything and I said, wait a second, look at all of the different things that this model really truly fixes. And for us, it was scalability. So for us, it was, and this is just really sort of our story is our market going back Colorado, Denver, Fort Collins market. From Fort Collins all the way down to Colorado Springs, we have 26 Regis offices that we can leverage. So one of the things Terrell mentioned early on in our partnership is, okay, how many offices, where are they going to be, who's signing the lease, all the things that scared the shit out of me. And so, because I don't want to be on the hook for all these leases. So we looked at scalability, like, wow, that can solve that problem. We looked at branding, like, well, we're the Trell Davis group. And so when we looked at EXP and the flexibility they have as long as they're state compliant, compared to the red, white, blue, and all the limitations of RE/MAX. That was really big for us. What email, what phone number, so forth. Some of the other things, technology platform, I looked at as I've continued to grow our team through the years. All the platforms there's always the team platform. This gave us the ability to extend those technology platforms over to the agents, to our team members, which we thought would be a great option. And then also the stock. We looked at the stock and we're like, look at this 401k potentially that we could help and really help our agents grow. So those were the big things. Obviously, we saw the rev share, but it was really a little bit on the side burner because of the momentum and how early we were in our relationship as far as growing our partner model. So we launched, and we launched the Trell Davis Group officially January 1. when we signed up with EXP. We did the TV shows, the advertising, marketing. It was really a whirlwind from basically first quarter. It was a total whirlwind. Transitioned over the 5 agents that I had working at that time. Transitioned them over. Then the next steps is I took my notepad. I went and had lunch with all of the top agents in my market, even though others told me I shouldn't. I did, because I could sell anything. So I went out and had lunch, and I was scribbling things down. And Gene Frederick over breakfast said, here's my napkin approach. And so I'm like, okay, I can remember this. So I'm doing the napkin approach and everything. It didn't work. I think I might have brought on 2 agents at that time. So not a lot of momentum. And so at this point, I'm at Vegas at the shareholder meeting. And if I leave anything out, John, just...
That was in April, right? So we were in Vegas. What was that, April?
Yeah, April.
Yep.
So not frustrated, but a little frustrated or disappointed, I should say, because I thought, after Earl Davis, this is all the things we're doing. We should have a lot more momentum. So I remember this very distinctly. I remember talking to Mike Reese. Michael said, I ran into him in the hall or somewhere. He's like, how's things going? I said, I thought I had a little more success than I had. And he's like, tell me a little bit about that. So we talked about it. He's like, let's have breakfast. All right, great. Let me know when. That night, you guys, great influences. Go to the MGM. Little John, I guess, was there. So
yeah,
had a great time with everyone that was there, masterminds and others. And about 4:30 in the morning when we rolled in, and I remember the next thing my phone goes off. I pick up the phone. It's Mike Reese. He's like, where you at? I'm like, I'm in bed. And he's like, you're supposed to be at breakfast. I'm like, oh, be right there. I jumped out of bed, threw on some clothes, and ran down there, sat down, and we started talking. He's like, what's that on your head? He goes, what's on my head? I had confetti still on my head from the Little John concert. But anyway, there's definitely a quick shift there, because the whole conversation that I had with Mike before is we're not attracting the right people. We're not getting in front of the right people. It's the approach and so forth. So I sat down with Mike, and we completely just took a whole different look at the process and what we're doing. And what Michael really shared with me and others is it's the audience, and how do you attract the right audience for who you're wanting to speak with. And one of the books he told me at that point, he said, you gotta read the book Tell to Win. And it's, tell a story that somebody can relate to with an outcome that they desire, and you're going to have an engaged consumer or an engaged client or agent or whoever else. And I'll never forget that. That's really the big piece I got out of that book. And so now what I look at is I really feel like I'm a storyteller, and I'm not selling anything. What I'm doing is I'm trying to identify problems that we can help and fix, but additionally opportunities that we can expose as well for those potential agents / recruits. So what we did was we started building workshops. That's one of the things that we started doing, and this was back in, our first one was in May, actually, end of May. We did a workshop at Mile High Stadium in Denver. Then we went down to Colorado Springs, and then we went to Loveland, or I believe that was the order. And first we had 3 of them. We had, I think, 119 people in the room in Mile High. I think we brought 1 agent over off of that. We had Colorado Springs. I believe we had a couple of recruits, brought 1 team over ultimately from that event, with a couple of recruits still in the pipeline. And then in Loveland, we brought 2 over from that event, and we have a couple more still in the pipeline from there. But there was definitely lessons learned as far as the message, how we approached, how we discussed, and so forth. So fast forwarding, we had May. We then had, I believe it was late June, we had an event. Brought a couple of agents over in that event, and then we had another event in August. That event, we brought 4 agents over in that event. With two or three of those agents are in application process from that event. We did our first event in Atlanta a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Time's sort of running together. I have, from there, I have 4 applications out right now, and I have another 5 people that are still wanting to get on confidential calls to talk about the opportunity. And then we're going to Newport Beach, Orange County, sorry, on Tuesday, and then LA Wednesday. The following week, we're back in Atlanta. And then 2 more weeks after that, we're going to be doing Colorado Springs and Denver again.
Yeah, it's it definitely has been a whirlwind, and I want to just recap on a couple things for everybody on the call as you were kind of moving through that process. And for those of you that have had the opportunity to come to any of the Double Your Business workshops and have seen Michael, this is Kev's the guy where it started. So just definitely day one with it, and it really did come from that conversation there in Vegas, not on much sleep. And we'll blame Daniel Beer and Kyle Whistle for that late night of fun. It was fun. We had a blast. But really coming from that, and it was out of sheer frustration, right? Because you think that you align with an authority figure, especially in Denver, right? I mean, TD's everything in Denver, right? Next to him and Elway. So you have this amazing authority figure in your marketplace, and you just feel like you're going to have greater traction, and it just was not just was not true, right? It just didn't happen. So there was a lot of frustration there. So I think that's a huge lesson in just constantly iterating on the process. And you did touch on something. Tell everybody again on Tell to Win. What was that key nugget that you took from Tell to Win?
It was tell a story that somebody can relate to with an outcome that they desire. And so basically in all of the conversations that we're having with potential recruits, we're really just trying to get to know what their business is like. So an example, and I'll rewind back a little bit, prior to our first event, TD and I flew out to Dallas, met with Michael and Woods, Jay, John, and we really talked about what we believe in, what's TD believe in, and we had the boards going, and we were writing notes, and it's really about, we talked about integrity and building a championship team, but also we talked about what our audience is, how do we capture our audience. And one of the things that we walked away with, one of the things that we're in the process of doing is creating a podcast, but we're not quite there yet. And so we've been working on our YouTube channel, which is Live Life on Offense. And so we've been working on that, and we have several things on that YouTube channel. For everyone out there, subscribe, we'd appreciate it. What it is we're really leveraging TD's leadership skills and all of the different lessons learned through the years of him, whether it be from a kid, from playing ball at Georgia, to playing ball with the Broncos, to his time with Elway, to his time with Pat Bowlen, the owner, to Shanahan. But there's so many lessons learned that again, going to our audience, which is the entrepreneur, that people can look at and put themselves in those shoes and get some inspiration. And so one of the things that we've been layering in is to our nurture pipeline in this audience that we've created is giving them content, because you don't always want to be, one of the things I've had this conversation with several of you is like, there's a certain point where you expose the opportunity, then what do you say? Because everyone wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold. And so right. If I continue to try to convince you to join, and I'm not giving any value, then you're going to feel like I'm being sold. And the one thing I think that a lot of us forget about is we're asking people to move their entire business. This is a huge career change for them. And so they have to see the value in that. And so by sharing some of this inspiration and really just showing them ways that they can get in alignment and see the value and benefits that we offer in the leadership has definitely helped us as well. And that's the big piece with TD is when we've done these workshops, sitting down with Michael, TD, and everyone, it's like, how do we create our audience? Well, if we give value, which is the Double Your Business Live workshop, where The workshop typically starts out in Colorado, starts out with me telling my story, talk a little bit about my business and how I went from being Kevin dependent to, thanks to NAEA, transitioning me over to being process and system dependent. So that way my business runs based on the systems and processes and not based on Kevin going out and hitting every social event and so forth to try to drive business. We then go into the introduction with TD. TD talks about one of his stories or two and shares some of his leadership and sort of the athlete to entrepreneur point in all of the different lessons as an athlete and how those relate to being an entrepreneur. And then we go into Michael, and Michael then goes through all the different pieces of growing their business and the digital platforms and all of the lessons learned through the years and so forth. So we have a captured audience that are just soaking in the information and really taking all of that in. So we attract people that are open-minded and want to grow. And then at the end, we then let people know that if they'd like to learn more information about what we're doing and the company that we've aligned with, and if they would learn how they could be an alignment partner with us, then they could, they're welcome to stay after lunch and for our presentation on that model. And now all of a sudden we have open-minded people seeking opportunities, and that's where a lot of the success comes from.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, I mean, just everybody kind of caught that. And that's in marketing, right? I mean, what's the offer to your audience? And that's what you're constantly working on, what you're constantly iterating on is what's the offer that aligns to the audience. And I love that from Tell to Win, tell the story that they can relate to with the outcome that they desire. And so that really helps. And I know Terry asked a question, what are we offering to get them to the events? And it's really just giving them a roadmap to help them double their business, right? That's been kind of the offer that you guys have been running with that has responded well, right? I mean, you've done how many events, and Michael's done another 6 or 7 events even without you. So you guys, he's almost 20 some odd events deep. And he's an iteration machine, and you are as well. So it's just constantly learning and improving and getting better. And so is there anything else that has really worked well from an offer standpoint to really help get people into the seats?
Well, I believe the big thing is going to be giving value, really showing people how you can help them grow. I've had people ask me questions like, how's Terrell Davis going to help me grow my real estate business? What's he know about real estate? Well, he's been involved in real estate not to the level of going and showing homes and opening lockboxes. But when you look at leadership, and when that person there may not be our best candidate, so why are we going to waste our breath with them versus somebody that looks and says, well, here's a leader, and look what this person has accomplished through the years, and they're seekers, and they're seeking for that knowledge and things to grow. So we don't expose the EXP presentation in any of our marketing, because truly we're going there to help them and give and grow their business. So that's the attraction piece. But whether it's a workshop, whether it is, I think there's other things that we're starting to layer in that we've learned. Like from right now today, I think I have 9 or 10 applications in the pipeline right now of people going through the process. But there's a lot of simple things that people can do. I was talking to Michael the other day, and there's an agent in Dallas that this gal goes out to continuing ed classes, and she's just having conversations with people. And I wrote down the script that Michael shared with me. It was, let's see. He said, have you heard what Jay Kinder and Michael Reese are doing with EXP? And they say yes or no. And then they're partnering with agents all over the country. And then that spurs a conversation. Or locally, I've shared with some of our partners here. Have you heard what Kevin Schumacher and Terrell Davis are doing with EXP? They've partnered with some amazing national trainers out of the Dallas area and are partnering with agents all over the country. And again, it spurs the conversation. Prior to that, it's getting to know them. It's like, John, tell me a little bit about your business. Where are you at? How's your year going for you? What successes have you had? What bottlenecks have you had? And then they expose those pieces, and then you can layer in different successes that you've had that you've leveraged with the EXP model.
No, I love it. And, I mean, this truly all started with this adventure that we've been on with EXP over the last 12 plus months, from discovery to where we're at today, trying to solve a problem, right? It started with Al losing his top agents and like, shit, I'm back in production. That's not what I want, right? And so trying to solve a problem, and we've all experienced it. Everybody on this call has experienced it. If you've had team members, if you've built a team, the frustrations, your key people are going to leave you. Just a matter of time, unless you've got an opportunity that aligns to, what they're really wanting to accomplish in their lives. So adding value. Kev, give some context for everybody listening in. I don't think we quite touched on it. When you joined with EXP, how many people did you bring over with you? And then, we only had just a couple that came on up until the May timeframe when we shifted our focus on the agent attraction side of things. So just kind of give a rundown over the last 12 months of what your agent count has been like.
So when I first started, I brought 5 agents over on my team. And then to date, I'm at 13 on my front line. I have the nine in application right now. I have 2 brand new agents that are getting licensed, and they'll be licensed in a couple weeks, and then they'll be taking applications as well and coming on board.
So that'll put us at 24, pretty much within a not even a 12-month period, right? And so that's awesome.
Based on my projections of how I've ran everything with not only the events, but some other pieces, which I'll share with you that we're doing. My projections, we should be at 30 by year end. And then by end of first quarter, we'll be at 40. So that's how we have it layered out.
That's amazing. And so let's jump into, so anytime, this is just a good decision making filter for everybody listening in, is that, when you make a decision, there's a couple things that you want to be, you need to think about before you say yes. A lot of us, we blindly make decisions and do things, and then we're like, shit, that was a bad idea. So, what we can do to stack probability in our favor when you're thinking about making a decision is, one, get the data, right? Get the data. What's true? What are you wanting to accomplish? Does it align to what you want to, what your goal is? And then what is the secondary impact? What is the ripple effect if I say yes? And so I would love for you to talk a little bit about that, right? You say yes to workshops, then what? What's the ripple effect? What's the oh shit, I got to deal with that? Okay. But what is that? So everybody can kind of think about it, after you do an event, then what, right? What's that ripple effect?
Well, and it's not only the event. I'll use, and I'll definitely go down that path with you as well, but I'll use Matthew, one of my agents, great guy, been with me almost 9 years now. He brought over his first recruit, and he comes over and he's like, now what? and that, which is what I said a while back. Grant, the team was easy because they just like, okay, you're the leader, we follow. So the whole key is having that successful onboarding process to make sure that they're successful. And the number one thing with TD and I, when we sat down and we committed to do this model is if we're bringing people over, we need to make sure that they're successful. So we really tried to follow the process and really make sure that, we tell people we're not gonna hold your hand, but we're gonna coach you and we're gonna help you. We're gonna be right on the sideline. If I need to run out and show you how to hold the ball every once in a while, I'll do that, but I'm not gonna score the touchdown for you. So we really set the expectations, but we really want to be there as a support system. So example, one of the things we're doing right now is I'm doing a 6-week course where it starts next week, Thursday, and it's an hour and a half. First one, everyone will be in my office, and then from there we'll do a Zoom or whatever else unless they want to come to the office. And basically it's a ramp up and say, all right, guys, you're as soon as you come on board, here's what you need to do. And so we're layering through those pieces. I have all that documented, but also I'm sitting down and I'm going through because I want them to be successful. Sometimes technology is new to these people. Maybe they did know it, but they're a little overwhelmed. I think it's common for people to come over to EXP and are like, I got so many of these emails, I don't know what to do. So we basically layered it out. We said, all right, step 1, Are you an individual? Are you a team? What is your team name? What are you promoting? What email are you using? What phone number are you using? It is such that you have a little checklist, because it's the simple things that people get overwhelmed with, and they're not going to doing business. So if they sit and they're in this whirlwind for 30 days or 45 days, and all of a sudden they don't have it under contract, you're dealing with a much bigger problem. So the number one goal for me is to get them successful right out of the chute. So that's the big thing, is you've got to really be organized and ready to go and commit, and then have a schedule, set the expectation. For me, they go to callkevinschumacher.com, and they can tap right into my calendar, and then they can set either a 15 or 30-minute appointment. There's a note section, so they can be very specific on what they need, so I'm prepared for that call. So I definitely make myself available, but also, you have to set some boundaries as well. Otherwise, it gets gets a little bit out of hand. So that's one thing. The other thing that we're starting on Friday at 7 o'clock. There's a little breakfast place on I-25, Red Roosters. So meeting some of the partners there, and every Friday at 7 o'clock, we're going to have a partner meeting. People are welcome to bring guests, and we're going to just basically, it's going to be an EXP support. We're going to talk about best practices and just be there to help, and just really everyone build off of that synergy. I know some of you guys in Dallas have been doing that, and there's been some success. And so really just building off of that and building on the community.
I love it, man. That is a game changer. And, Michael, we've been off and on leveraging Friday breakfast, original Pancake House on 121 off of the tollway for the last however many years. Michael's been off and on doing with it. And I know when we were running partner before we, moved everything over to EXP, our whole leadership team, we met every morning, every Friday morning at 6:30 as soon as Pancake House opened. And, it's huge. It's huge to be able to have that space and that time in the calendar to be able to connect. And I love how you position it as EXP support and best practices, being able to share. And then gold nugget, I don't know if you guys caught it. Make sure that you use the technology to be able to leverage your calendar, create those guidelines, right? So people can take advantage and get in your calendar instead of popping in or firing off an email. Got a minute? They have direct access to your calendar, be able to set it up and be in there. And I think so far my biggest takeaway is the step-by-step process for them to be successful. Taking that into consideration, bringing somebody on board, you're taking ownership and making sure that they get off and running is absolutely key. So talk a little bit, Kev, on, after an event, kind of what that process looks like before they commit and come on board, just to kind of give everybody some context if they're thinking about doing some type of event, some of the best practices coming out of there.
Well, the one thing to take into consideration is that at these events, and I was a little concerned that agents were actually going to show up to this event and then expose themselves in front of other agents of their interest level of actually wanting to come over. And there's sometimes people just come up directly with questions, but the gold is in the follow-up. And so after the event, we send an email with some value adds that we promised through the event. But then we do a survey and we ask specific questions about their business and what they learned. But we also ask them if they'd be interested in having a confidential conversation of what becoming a partner would look like. And if they say yes, then obviously they get a link to our calendar. We get all of that set up. Also sending them text messages. Text messages are huge. Sending them a follow-up text message. If you get no response, of asking if they'd be interested in jumping on a call to discuss what partnering would look like. And you'll get your response level's high. But what I also found is you got to follow up fast. And if you let too much time go by, then there's another we're agents. There's shiny objects in there, and people will chase those. So the next thing happens and they're off. So you have to follow up fast. You have to be very consistent, but also don't sell. You want to be able to help solve a problem. You want to, Jay and Mike have jumped on a lot of calls with me. They both have a little bit of a different approach, but both very successful in their different approaches. And they're really talking about, both of them are like, so how can I help? and they are getting them to share and tell them where they're at in their business, and then ask them what they're going to accomplish, what their goals are, so forth. And then that's how those conversations continue. So leverage people in your upline that can help you advance and move that on. One of the things that we've been doing, sort of a lesson learned from last week, I had 3 or 4 calls with Michael, and 4 calls and 4 applications. But what happened is I sent them an email. We had the conversation. So I'm going to send you over an email that has all these different helpful links about EXP. Most importantly, there's a link that you click on. It's called agentgrowthmap.com. That's my URL that links them in. Basically, you go there, and that's where you actually make application to join EXP. By filling this out, you're not joining EXP. This is really your due diligence process. This is where you're going to go in. You're going to collect information. This is what was really the most helpful for me. You go in, you fill out this application, ask you some different information, your production, and so forth. But they ask for a start date. In that start date, you want to put 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, something like that. All that does is it triggers the onboarding team to get that independent contractor agreement out to you. If you put 6 months, you'll get that agreement in 5 months and 3 weeks. And so make sure you put a short date. The other thing is there's a little spot where it says who introduced EXP to you. You want to put my name down. What it does is it tags me in the process. That way I can follow you all the way through. So at any point you hit a bottleneck, like, Kevin, what's going on here? I know right where you're at, and I can hop on the phone and help answer those questions. So those are the 2 main things. You'll then get the independent contractor agreement. When you get that, don't sign it, because then you joined. So we're in the due diligence process. Print it out, review it. The best thing there was it answered many questions that I had, but it also created questions. So once you're done there, we'll hop on a call, we'll talk through all those, and basically the next step is for you to get on board and become a partner. So that's how that conversation goes. Now, my lesson learned from last week is those 3 or 4 people that I talked to, they're like, all right, I'm ready. Well, then I send the email. Well, I had 12 different links. I think it's 12, could have been 10, and all this information. So I followed back up with them on Monday and like, oh, I just got that in, but man, there was so much information. It took me forever to go through it. Lesson learned is they get that information again later. So when they are ready to go to the next level, send them 1 link. Don't be sending
less is more. Less is more.
Right. Don't do what I just did last week. It delayed.
Less is more.
Yeah. And not that I am trying to get them to join tomorrow. I want to advance them in the process the easiest way. Not that I don't want them to get overwhelmed. And I think that these people were a little overwhelmed by. Well, I know they were a little overwhelmed by that information, all the information.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Kev, what technology are you using? Are you using Calendly, or are you using Schedule Once? What are you using?
Schedule Once is what I'm using.
Schedule Once. I think Kendra's using that one as well. Make sure you guys take advantage of it, use it, and create your guidelines, create the boundaries in there. And so we're at boot camp this week, right? And we're sitting after we get done yesterday evening, and we're sitting there with Dan Kingsley, who's in EXP with us, and who's also in our mastermind. And we were talking about it, and Jay was showing his calendar, going through it. And what we had to remind Dan of is that when you set this up, remember, if you want to protect your time, you better block your time. So Jay was talking about how he didn't confirm in his calendar that he was going to watch the OU game last Saturday. And he had like 7 calls during the OU game that, as much as he loves OU. And so he's like, well, at least they won. They were kicking their butt, so it was no big deal. But you just have to remember, if you guys use the technology, use that. Make sure that you're really, really disciplined with your calendar, or they'll definitely take it from you for sure. Cool. So, Kev, I would love for you to kind of talk about challenges that you've had in balancing your obligations and your the agent attraction side of things. I know, just knowing you personally and knowing things that, and we all struggle with this too, right? Especially when we're in production and we're a large part of production and we're focused on other priorities and opportunities, what can happen. I would just love for you to kind of share that dynamic with everybody and some of the challenges that you faced with this opportunity over the last 12 months.
Sure. So initially I jumped in, and it was like that new shiny thing. I saw it, and I'm just an all-in guy. And so I jumped in, and I was working on all these different things and building out the podcasts to the workshops and doing all that. And I took my eye off production. And so all of a sudden I look back at the numbers and I'm like, whoa. And so the big thing there is just really sticking to my calendar, and it's the block schedule, and saying, okay, here's when I'm going to work on the agent attraction piece. Here's what I'm going to work on production, making sure I'm there for my team. I have an amazing team, amazing support staff, but it's draining. I mean, it's definitely a lot of work to build all these pieces out and to build them out properly and make sure that you have all of those pieces documented. So big thing is do it, document the process, and don't fly by the seat of your pants. For a while, basically, because this is really important to me, basically I said, if it's that important, then I need to get up that much earlier. I already get up at 5, now I get up at 4. I was staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning because it was really important to me, and I was getting it done. But then my production and my team weren't sacrificing based upon this other commitment that I've taken on. So really, it's managing your calendar, but also again managing the expectations of everybody else. And when they're agents, they understand. So if you have that conversation, they'll be there to support you. The other thing is I'm using Market Maker. And there's all these different pieces that of different drop and drags, which I haven't experimented with. But there's all these different pieces of technology that they have introduced, and we're layering into all of that right now. So I have everybody in Market Maker. I have all my follow-up is in Market Maker. When I send out the text messages, it documents everything in Market Maker, the conversations. So it's really easy for me on all of my follow-up. When we send out videos, we can send out group videos or one-off videos. So that's really allowed us to sort of build a library of videos that we can also send out from a follow-up standpoint. So honestly, some of the videos that we've done, we've thanked them for coming to the event before we even went to the event. And so we try to just be really diligent on our time for the workshops, but it's really time management, because we're just in that business where it consumes you, and it consumes you whether you're in production, then doing the agent attraction, and then obviously your family. So it's managing your calendar.
Yeah, it really is getting clear on your high leveraged activities based upon the opportunities that you have, right? And there's some math that you can break it down, and knowing if you're allocating enough time or not, right? We all got the same 168 every week. It's just how are we, maximizing it and leveraging it to make sure that we're really taking advantage of the priorities that we have. And I know you had mentioned Market Maker, and any of you guys listening in, man, just don't jump out there and go buy Market Maker. You need to have a conversation with the Kevin. You need to have a conversation with me. You need to have a conversation with Jay. And there is one person over there that I would only want you to talk to, and that's Jake. And Jake's at marketmakerleads.com. If you're interested or been thinking about it, you can have an honest conversation with Jake. And like I said, if it's something else, man, talk with Kev, talk with me, talk with Jay before you do anything and jump onto any type of technology. So I just want to throw that out there for you guys. So yeah, Kev. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, and just allocation of time and being aware of the priorities, because what we've seen over this course of time is that shiny object syndrome that you mentioned, right? And boom, agent attraction, let's go. And you're going all over there and you're like, oh no, I don't have any deals closing in the next 30, 45 days. I got to go pedal fast over here and maintain that, especially when you're responsible for production as well.
Well, the big thing also is stick to your promise. So if you're out doing the agent attraction and you're committed to it, stick to what your promise is to your people and really invest in your people. I do my best to reach out every week to 7 to 10 days. I'm just dropping a quick call, a quick text message to my partners. I mean, I want to be there for them. And obviously some of the teams we brought on are a little more they're just go and grow. But but there's also some independent agents that need a little bit more help. So just reaching out, having conversations with them. One of our partners, she has it dialed in. I mean, she has it dialed in where basically she said, Kevin, what do I say? I'm like, this is what you say. So I gave her the script and the dialogue, and she's just going and talking to people, having a conversation, asking about their business. Her story is one of those where, they're like, what brought you to EXP? And she's like, watching my mom all those years through the business. Now she's in her mid 70s, 80, whatever that is. Just seeing her, that she's had her success, but, she still is working. And, she doesn't, and this gal was like, I don't want to work till I'm 65 years old. I want an exit strategy. And that's what this gives me. And they're like, well, tell me a little more about that. You know what? I'd love to send you just this video that I was presented with. It's only like 20 minutes. If you want to watch it real quick, I'd love to then, get your feedback and talk to you more about it. But it's, it's a very there's a lot of technology involved, and it really just goes through everything. She sends that video to them. And we send it through Expert Mentor. We then know when they watched it. And so then later that day or the next day, she would send a text message. Text message basically says, hey, John, just want to follow up and see if you received the video and if you had any questions. Oh yeah, actually I did watch the video. Great. When can we jump on a call and talk about it, and go over it? And they respond, say, how about tomorrow, whatever else. Perfect. Look forward. How's 2:00 work? Look forward to meeting you then. By the way, when I first watched the video, I had Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, or Ken Schumacher, whoever, actually jumped on the call with me, and they gave me a lot of clarity on some of the aspects of the model that were a little fuzzy to me. So I'm going to have them go ahead and join us as well in case you have any questions. Look forward to talking to you then. And then they aren't going to say no. And then the call's set up. Then they hop on the call, and then away you go. You step back, and then whoever you've partnered with, they take it from there. They're not selling. And again, all we're doing is we're exposing an opportunity and trying to help them.
I love it. And what a way to also leverage anybody in your upline by doing that and getting them on the call. Hey, Ken was asking, are you doing anything to incentivize, motivate, or help your team execute their downline? What is their involvement, if at all, to build your level twos? I know you talked a little bit about it right there, but is there anything more specific?
So we're doing the Friday morning breakfast that we're just getting ready to start. We're doing the workshops where they have the ability to invite people to the workshops. So that way that we're supporting them there. Ultimately, what we want to do as we continue to get more feet on the ground is we're going to be starting our workshops on a every other week to every 3-4 week basis. We're going to be doing the workshops for them where they'll have the ability to invite as well. But the big thing is really spending time with them and helping them get comfortable in the dialogue, because so many times they're intimidated, just like I was when I went to my top 5 agents in my market. Oh, let me show you how you do all this stuff. And then I was selling them. And now when I see them, they're like, oh, Kevin's going to go try to sell me something. I'm not. So that's the biggest thing is helping them with the process and understanding the right way to go about it. So they're not selling, they're exposing an opportunity.
I love it, man. That's awesome right there. Thank you for sharing that, because I think, a lot of folks listening in, they feel the same way, right? And, if we felt it like that, you dang sure know your team and everybody else is feeling the same way. So being able to give them that system and process, and that's what Kev said when he first got on, is that, his whole mindset shifted from being, just do to focus more so on systems and process dependent and not, so much on him and people dependent, right? You can't scale hero. So you've got to have, the systems and processes in place to help you, accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So that was awesome. Thank you guys for asking any the questions. If you guys have any more questions or comments or anything that you would want to get some more clarity on from Kevin, throw it in the chat box or throw it in the Q&A, and we'll make sure to get it answered. And for any of you guys listening in on the recording after the fact, man, if you have questions, post them in the Facebook group, reach out to Kevin directly, message it on the video blog, the board where we post the videos inside of Wistia. There's definitely a way to get your questions answered for sure. Kevin, is there anything else that you're kind of thinking about on your mind that you definitely want to convey and pass along to everybody on the call when it comes to their agent attraction efforts?
I think really, I think mindset is a big thing, and it's coming from a position of abundance, coming from truly helping agents, and not really saying, okay, I'm going to go build my rev share. I'm in the business of partnering. I don't use the word downline, upline. I use the word partner, and everyone's my partner because I truly believe that, and I'm partnering to help them be successful, and that's my commitment. And so we're bringing partners on. We're coming from the mindset of abundance. Whether you come over with us in a week, 6 months, or a year, we're going to be here. The only difference is the opportunity is going to be different in 6 months or a year. So that's the big thing. You get people that are going to say, well, I'm going to wait till I cap. Hey, not a problem. Or wait till my cap resets. Hey, not a problem. But based on your production, why wouldn't you want to come over now when the stock is going to be lower and then cap quickly so you can become an icon agent? Just a thought. So there's a lot of those things, but man, go to all the conferences. If I can help, reach out to me. I'm happy to help people, but it's been a really fun ride and looking forward to everything in the future.
Yeah, for sure. So Dan was asking, is there any type of specific content that you're presenting at the every 2-week workshops, EXP or increase your business type training? What is the content that you guys are giving?
I would say that right now, it's going to, with Michael, it's going to be the digital piece. Read his book, Digital President. First book I've read, cover to cover in 10 years. Yeah, I love audiobooks, but a great book. But he goes through a lot of those things, success of the partner model and so forth. What I would say, if you're looking at a workshop or you're looking at lunch and learns, whatever you're doing, make sure that you're speaking from things that you were successful about, because people will be able to see that. The one thing you'll see with Michael in his presentation is he is so sincere, and he tells story after story about this success, this person, that person, and people will just the stories resonate with them. And again, I go back to tell a story that they can relate to in an outcome they desire, and that's what Michael does. Terrell and I are in the process of also looking at doing a workshop where it's going to be on building a championship team, and so it's going to be on I'll be on the piece of building the real estate side and what that looks like and the recruiting and so forth. TD is going to come in and he's going to talk about culture and your standards and different things like that. So I would not feel as comfortable giving Michael's presentation, even though I've seen it now 6, 7, 8 times. He does a phenomenal job and he sets the bar really high. I say stick to what you know and find what you can really passionately give back. And that's because people then are going to connect with you.
Yeah, absolutely. When you guys have that one ready, let me know, because I want to come sit in on that one for sure. I know
Awesome.
it'll be fantastic. And good stuff. And we've got you talk about events and surrounding and immersing yourself into certain content and really continuing to surround yourself with people that are making things happen. And we get the top 40 list out pretty consistently every week at the beginning of every week, and it's pretty awesome to see the names on that list, and as people are just really growing their agent attraction efforts. And a lot of those people are going to be in New Orleans. A lot of those people are going to be in Key West with us in November. A lot of those people come to our events like this at boot camp. We're in Frisco. We've got 7 more events on the calendar to go along with the 2 EXP events. There's 9 events for 2019 that we have laid out that I know Honey Badger Nation and Fast Forward Movement will be representing and at. So if you guys really want to stay in tune and know more about those events, please reach out to me. Let me know. I'll definitely make sure you guys stay informed and take advantage of the opportunity to come spend time with like-minded people like Kevin and like a lot of the folks that have done Expert Mentors Live for us over the last as this is episode 22, so there's 21 previous out in front that are just fabulous, unbelievable content, just like what Kevin shared today. And so take advantage of it, guys. It's out there. We're trying to add massive value, and if there's anything else that we can do more, please let us know.
One
Cool.
quick, John, real quick.
Yeah.
I to touch base on the boot camp. One of our previous workshops, and even I've done this with agents that I've met with and talked with, which have worked good on the CE classes and so forth and conferences, is they're really talking about the business, but then just introducing them to the boot camps. So, because for me, it's like I've been with these guys for 10 years, and the beauty that I see with these boot camps is this is the training platform that it creates the foundational piece of training for my agents. Then basically I'm training from there up, which is all strategic. And so leveraging this boot camp, so it was not this one, but the one in September, I believe I had 4 guests that came down. 3 of the guests are now EXP agents, and one of them is going to be within, I'm guessing, 6 months. So really leverage that piece, and it will also help you share the educational piece and surround them with the culture and environment.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got one more coming up this year, December the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We'll be back here. It looks like we're going to be back here at the Westin Stonebriar here in Frisco, which is just an awesome location. And so, get it on your radar and find out, who you're going to bring with you, the leadership, people you're trying to recruit over, and, come. And Tony Robbins talks about it a lot, right? It's immersion, and it's immersing yourself into the content and the culture and the environment that really has a tremendous impact on the trajectory and the acceleration more so of what you're wanting to accomplish in your life. So take advantage of it. Kev, man, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time, jumping on and really being a true expert mentor for everybody on the call. And appreciate you guys listening in. And if you're listening in or you're listening to the recording, make sure you guys share, give some love to Kev and give us some feedback. We absolutely love it.
All right. Thanks, John.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Take care.